is. How you doing, John?
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, pleased to meet you. I have a special guest here at the Cedar Hall Tavern. His name's John Gregory, and he's let me use a family heirloom here, and I went off in the bush and gave it a try, see how that works. So John's great-grandfather immigrated from Scotland, 1825 to Montreal area, and as time progressed, the family moved to Alberta, and John was born in Calgary. Is that right?
Yes, that is true, as you can tell by the hat.
The hat, right. And you notice also the attire here. So what John is portraying would be a worker in the late 1800s, maybe even early 1900s, as opposed to 1700s here. But we get on our channel, we get a lot of accolades about how we're keeping the old skills alive. And a lot of people say, it's good we're doing that because it's a dying thing, that when my generation's gone, so will all those old skills. Well, this young fellow, he's here to prove that's a total myth, right? So you took a furniture building course?
Yes, I went out to BC and I learned how to make furniture all by hand. So for example, this toolbox at the bottom here is built 100% by hand. And since then, I have expanded my repertoire in my tool library and have upgraded my toolbox to something big like that.
Before we get into this fine furniture work, you've changed fields.
Yes.
You went from furniture making, so currently you're enrolled in Algonquin School in timber framing. Is that right?
So timber framing, log building, wooden doors and windows, pretty much anything you need to build a house.
There you go. So if that doesn't dispel the myth that the old skills are dying. And how old are you, John?
I'm 21 this year, or turning 22.
Don't remember, 22. And another benefit we're going to get today, John's going to stick around after we do our little talk about tools and some of his fine wares. He's going to help me with some concrete.
Lift and rock, yeah.
So let's get this talk over in a hurry. I got a lot of rocks to put down. Anyway, let's start with this box, John. I'll just move back out of the way a little bit here.
All right.
If you forget that axe here, that'd be okay. I'll just move to the side here a little bit. So what do we have here?
Well, this is a Dutch-style tool chest. And I'm uncertain on when abouts they started getting built, but I believe they were present in the 18th century. And this one I built a couple years ago, and it took me a few months because I was figuring out all the intricacies of it. But it's a very curious construction to it. You can see I have a historically authentic lock here that does lock it. Probably could pick it with a screwdriver if you tried, but keeps it closed. So if we lift up the lid, we will reveal the treasures inside. So the way that this box is designed is to have your most used tools easily accessible on the top shelf here. So up here, within arm's reach, are my crosscut and rip saw for bringing boards down to size. And then I have my three main hand planes I will use for dimensioning stock, starting with my floor plane to my jointer, and then my smoothing plane.
Could we look at one of them, John?
Yeah,
Pull
sure.
one of them out of the box. So when did steel planes sort of replace wooden planes? What era are we looking at?
Well, Bailey patented this form of hand plane in the 1860s, but unfortunately they were a little bit expensive at the time, so they didn't really kick off until the 1910s, 1920s is when they really kicked off.
And then totally replaced wooden.
Yes, and that was because there was a bit of a reluctance to change. Wooden planes produce a better surface than metal planes.
Really?
So a lot of skilled craftsmen preferred the wooden planes. It's when the new generation came, they bought the new generation of tool.
You should buffer that within the right hands. A wooden plane
Yes.
produces a better finish.
Yes.
Because I've used both. And yeah, I'm not a finished woodworker by any means, but yeah, this is impressive. So what else have we got in here?
Oh, we have our joinery saws here. This is what I use is a dovetail saw, but it's probably more of a tenon saw. So it's in a rip cut orientation and used for cutting all manner of fine joints.
And this box is all built traditionally, John?
Yes. It's all 100% by hand. Dovetails at the bottom, nailed together fronts, and those are held together with traditional square cut nails. So the advantage to a square cut nail is it actually wedges itself in the wood, making it nearly impossible to pull out without a lot of force.
They hold a lot more than modern wire nails do, right?
Yeah, we only switched because the wires were cheaper. Then I have my chisels within arm's reach, and my tape measure is a traditional
one,
folding
yeah.
rule.
More accurate than ones you get today.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
Wow.
you might notice that you're only seeing half of the box here. There's a hard floor under there, but there's a whole bottom part to it. So this box actually has a secret compartment. And when you pull that up, forward flops the front, and out will fall your tools. So whereas the top part is a sorted masterpiece, the bottom part is a jumble pile of whatever you can fit in there.
And you've got a lot of things in there. So you've got some wooden planes here.
Yeah, those are my molding planes. That one in particular is a what's called a philister plane. So it has a movable fence at the bottom and a depth stop, and you can use it to cut rabbets and tenon shoulders and all that stuff.
Beautiful. And have you done restoration on some of these pieces, or are
Yeah,
they...
so you can actually see on that one you just picked up, right at the mouthpiece, right here, I had to glue that piece in and do it at a compound angle
Oh, yeah.
to get that in there.
Interesting. And we have some more planes in here. Shall we keep going?
Yeah. That's just a typical molding plane. And you can actually see the molding it produces around the edges of the lid here. So,
Beautiful. And these are pegged right on the... I saw the
Yeah.
pegs on the underside of this.
yeah, so this is a breadboard top. So I came in with the philister plane, put a shoulder on this big board, and then these latch on, and you peg them in with a slotted hole in the, underneath them. So then the wood can expand and contract.
So how many hours to build this one?
For this one, it depends on your skill level, of course. But this is quicker to build than an English box. So this one would take, 15 hours, give or take, whereas an English box would take you a full week to put together.
And so the English box here, it's all mortise and tenon, is it?
Yeah,
Like
it's
the
dovetailed. You can see
dovetail. Oh, yeah, I can see the dovetails.
the dovetails hiding there.
Very nice.
So that's a more English style is square. The Dutch style is to have the slanted roof and a hidden part.
Right. So, and down here we have another wooden plane in front of you there. So this, you were saying, that was for windows, right?
Yes, this is a traditional stick and rabbet plane for building windows. So you can see that molding on the edge here is the glass rebate for the putting the glass in the window, and then the fancy molding that goes on the inside. And you can adjust the width of your window rails and stiles. And this is an American style tool because it combines the British style. British use 2 planes for making a window. The Americans only used 1.
Boy, they're hard to find, like good quality planes like that, or they're still...
Well, you
still
find
pretty
with
found?
the wooden ones, they're less desirable than the metal ones.
Yeah.
The Stanley stuff can go pretty high, but if someone doesn't know what this is, you could get it for $40 maybe.
Yeah, interesting. And you got another tool at your feet there. What are we looking at there?
So this is a
an interesting looking
curiosity of the turn of the century. It's well, you can see it's your brace, so your drill, but it's designed to drill into corners. So with that gear ratio, you can butt it up against the surface, and you can
drill right a hole right in
drill
the corner of a structure.
right in the corner. Yeah.
Well, it's brilliant. I've seen them before in antique shops, but never knew exactly why. I kind of thought something like that, but yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, they're a crazy contraption.
Wow. So how's the college course going on timber frame construction?
Well, we're yet to get to the meat and potatoes. We're doing the review right now. We're doing the joinery and we're doing the simple stuff.
Yeah.
But come next year, we'll be able to start throwing up log houses like you've done here and timber frame construction eventually. So that'll be the most exciting part of it.
Do they get into hewing logs?
Yes.
I notice
they
you
do
should show
hand
the
hewing.
hewing axe here. So is that something that you, as a class, you'll be actually constructing, like a square hewn log
Yes.
structure?
Yeah, smaller than this blacksmith shop here, about a hewn log structure that we put together on campus, and then I believe it either gets donated or bought, and someone goes and uses it as a shed or something.
Right.
A
Interesting.
lot of work for a small shed.
Yeah, and then the roof would all be like beam construction with
Yes,
pegged
yeah.
together and jointed. Fascinating trade. So there you go, folks. If you think that if you think the old skills are dying, well, at 20, he's got a lot of years left to keep them going, and I think there'll be generations after you, John. So the demographics of the class that you're in, what's the age group of them?
Well, there's a couple of retired people, but there's a lot of younger people.
Yeah.
I think there's more of a push these days to learn the old ways and kind of preserve the old buildings that we still have, keep
And
them around.
what was your impetus to taking this on as a trade, or?
Well, it was after I did this furniture building course, I wanted to also learn how to build a house, and so I can build a house and the doors and windows and all the furniture that fits in it.
You're going to do it all yourself.
Yeah.
That's going to be your home.
Yep, I'm hoping to.
Man of my own heart. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. Wow. That's really interesting stuff. We've built a lot of the stuff in our cabin, of course, the cabinetry and stuff, but it's I think it's authentic, like square nails and stuff, but not the fine jointery that you've put together in these fine pieces you've brought.
Yes.
Anyway, do you feel like pouring some cement?
Let's get to it.
All right. Let's see if we're going to. This morning we're going to try to build the arch for the forge fire. That'll be the sort of, it's the base, if you would, to start our rather complicated chimney construction. And you haven't done masonry yet, or do you do any in this course?
Nope, not in this course.
That's unfortunate.
Always time to learn.
It'll be darn handy this afternoon. Anyway, we'll learn together. What do you think?
Yep.
All right, let's get these tools put away, and we'll see what we can, kind of a mess we can make in
All
there.
right.
Perfect. Thanks very much. So what do you think, John? Are we up to this task?
I think there's only one way to figure it out.
Well, one rock at a time. So what we've done here is we've built a form. The firebox sits here. This is going to be the arch for the entry point for the exhaust into the chimney, which in itself is a bit complex. So we built this form, and you'll notice that it's wider. It's 16 inches wide at the bottom here, and it's 11.5 inches wide at the back. So essentially from the front to the back, it's coming in like this, which is going to create a bit of a ventura, and that's going to create a better, quicker draw from the fire that essentially sits out in the room. So, and while we're bringing it up, we're going to take those rocks, and we're going to, I think the term, I'm probably going to get this wrong. My friend Luke Soames will correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's called corbelling, where as we come up, we're going to start to subtly bring them out. So we're going to get a little bit more of a protrusion at the top than the bottom, and that may aid as sort of a semi-hood, if you would.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where we're at. So yeah, I think we should go mix some concrete. I'll show you over here the sketch I've made of the chimney we're going to build. What we're going to build, John. So what we're hoping to do here is there's the arch, and that's called the keystone, right? And we've got to fit them up there and then find that perfect rock that kind of locks them all in. Structurally, it's like they build bridges, right? Still build bridges that way today. So yeah, so it's going to be 16 inches high at its highest point. It's 14 inches at the front, and on the inside we taper it into 11 and a half. So, and then that becomes the main part of the chimney, up to this smoke shelf, which will be 4 inches. Tapers up to a 12 by 12 flue that goes out through the roof. And yeah, I think we'll get her done today.
We can try.
Yeah, you know what? I'd be happy to get the arch done.
Yes.
But yeah, if we can get her done, that's fine too. All right, let's mix some mortar.
Let's get to it.
My friend, let's see if we did it.
The hard part.
This is it, the magic. So fragile right now. What do you think?
I think that's as steady as it's going to get. It hasn't fallen over yet. And we'll just fill up the gaps.
Yep, I think we got it. I think that's going to work.
Hope so.
So what we're going to do now, we dry fit everything before I lay it. So I'm trying to find rocks that are reasonably level, and we want to get right around the perimeter here, and then we can start building up to support our arch.
All right.
Yeah. So I'm going to use that height here as a starting point. Let's go a little bit higher there, I think. I feel like you've been doing this all your life.